Meet Anna. Like you, Anna does a lot of classroom observations. But Anna has a problem. Despite all the time she spends in classrooms, she hasn't seen enough change in the actual teaching and learning. Then Anna remembers she can use the TOPS tool. TOPS stands for Teacher and Observer Partners for Success. In a traditional observation, the observer usually scripts everything that happens in a 45 to 60-minute lesson, then leaves a laundry list of strengths and weaknesses for the teacher to sort through. This isn't exactly efficient. But TOPS is different. Instead of being a scribe, the observer acts more like a coach for the teacher. So what is it that makes coaches so effective? First of all, they do short observations of performance, and then they give immediate specific feedback, 1 to 2 items maximum. Then they give time to practice before they finally come back to observe whether or not there's mastery. This cycle is what makes the best coaches and observers so effective. First, they observe in order to determine the next area for growth. Then they review that growth area with the player or teacher, and then allow a short practice period before coming back to observe mastery and then determine the next area. So how do we know what growth step a teacher should be on? Well, good coaches know when to give which advice, and they know that you have to master the basics before you can do the more complicated stuff. That's why, with the TOPS tool, we have a list of questions that observers ask themselves whenever they visit a teacher's classroom. If the answer to one of the questions is yes, great, keep going. But when you get to a question where the answer is no, stop. This is where the observer and the teacher will work together to choose a growth step. Here are the questions that observers ask themselves, in this order. Observers use this order every time they do a new observation, because teacher performance may vary from subject to subject or class to class. For instance, say an observer stops on question 2, do students follow routines and procedures? The observer and teacher might then work together to choose the growth step, develop 2 to 3 attention getters. Then, the observer and the teacher actually practice these attention getters together. This helps teachers develop muscle memory for the next time they're in their classrooms. All the best performers practice before they go live. In the last step, the observer comes in a few days after the first observation to see if the growth step has been mastered. If it has, great! On to a new growth step. If not, looks like it's time for more practice.